Okay guys, so now we're back. Alright, so we actually have a data layer, so we should probably be doing a lot of this work there. We probably should not have this add and save here. We definitely should not have this here, well, simply because we can't test it, and it's good to keep things separate, in separate classes, concerns. It's easier to maintain, and so on and so forth. So let's deal with that. Alright, so first things first, let's add a new folder in the data one. Let's go ahead and call this repositories. Okay, we're going to add an interface here. It's going to be called iRepository. Okay, and we're going to say repository of T. If you don't know what T is, I did struggle with that when I first started C#. I did not understand the concepts of generics, but basically this allows us to use multiple classes and so multiple objects inside to replace T. But you can add constraints and so on and so forth, which we're about to do right now. So we want to say where T is a class, okay, it inherits identity, and it's new, okay, and when you add new you have to have open and close parentheses. Okay, so that's that. Now we want an IEnum, we want to be able to return an iQueryable, actually, an iQueryable of T, and we're going to have this just say get. Okay, we would like to be able to return just an object of T, and this is going to be get as well, and we're going to have an int as an ID in there. Okay, and then we're going to have a save that returns T. I usually do put and post and patch, but you know, push, put, patch, you know, all of that stuff. But for simplicity, we're just going to have a save, and we're going to pass a T of entity. Okay, and we also want to delete. That returns a void. But because this is well, we're going to keep it like this for simplicity right now. So right now we want to actually add a class. Okay, this class is going to be repository. Okay, we'll make it public. Okay, and I can't spell. It's going to be of T as well, and it's going to inherit iRepository of T. And now we need to just copy this, and that's what it's barking at. Alright, and then now we need to implement the missing members. Alright, now let's move him to his own class. I generally try to keep them separate like that, just so it's easier to see what's what. Alright, so we need to say CTOR, and this is actually going to be context. Alright, so I implemented a read-only field of context as well. And we're just going to simply say return context.set T. Here we're going to return, oops, get first over default, ID equals ID. Okay. And delete. We like to, we actually, you see that I need to implement something here as well. I didn't apologize for that. It needs to have a way to know which one to delete. So this one we want to say var database entity equals get. Okay. And then we want to say if database entity equals null. I want to throw new invalid operation exception. Go ahead and say this entity wasn't the database. Okay. Alright, so now we can simply say context.set t remove, and we can say database entity. Now we can say context.set t. Actually, we don't want that. Apologies, we just want to say save changes. Alright, so now save. We're going to say private. It's going to return a t, and it's going to be save new. Okay, and a t of entity. Okay. And what we can do is we can just simply say context.set add entity context.save changes and return entity. Now that will have the new ID number in it, so we can say if entity.id equals 0, then we can say we want to return save new. Okay. Else we can say we want to database entity equals get. Okay, and now we can say context.entry. We can say database entry dot current values dot set values. And we can say entity. And we can just say context.save changes. And now we can say return entity. Alright. So how do we implement this so that we can I went through that kind of quick, apologize. Let's go ahead. Basically you return a set that is queryable. It will allow you to query, which you'll see here in a little while, because we'll use it. Just you can get one item, or you can save. Basically, we add it and save it, or you can actually, simply set the values this way and save it. and then we also have a delete, that we get the database entity and we remove it from it, and then we simply save it. Okay. Alright, so that's our repository. It's a pretty simple version, but it does do the job. What we want to do, because we don't want this anymore, and we really don't want this anymore, and we do still want to save. We do want contact. Alright, so we're going to have a little bit of a problem. You'll see that real soon, but we can handle it. So right here, we want to actually add another column. And keep in mind, this is not going to be the most beautiful thing in the world because, well, we aren't here for making things pretty right now. Maybe a later video we can look into that, but right now we don't really care about that. So first off, you see we have let's go ahead and add this as well. So what happened? Oh, I deleted it. Alright, so now they're back the way they were. Basically, we just want to move the column over 1. So that needs to be 1. That needs to be 2. This needs to be 1 and 2. And this is going to actually be 1. Alright, so now we have an empty column here that we want to add. I'm actually going to have a list box. Okay, in this list box we're going to have an item source that is going to be bound to contacts. Okay. Now we don't have contacts yet, but let's just say list box because we really want to see first name and last name. Dot item container or item template. Item containers. Okay, we're actually not going to use that. We're going to use the list view, just simply because it's a little easier. List view dot view. Okay, now we're going to have a grid view and grid view dot columns. Grid view column. The header is now going to say last name, and display member binding is actually going to be binding to the last name. And this will be bound to first name. Okay, now we want to say grid dot column 0, grid dot row span is going to be 5. 6. Alright. And we can actually just make this star instead of auto. That'll be better. Okay. But I don't know why our other column isn't showing up here. Maybe it will when we build, and we want this to be 2-star. Okay. Let's build. Yeah, there it is. Our last name is now right. Alright, so we actually want to add something here, which I was going to do on the last video that I didn't. I'm going to make a protected virtual void register collections, and go ahead and call that here. Okay, and now let's go ahead and override that. Okay, let's go here and say prop observable collection contact, and this is going to be contacts. Alright, so let's go ahead and say contacts equals new observable collection. Alright, and now we need an I repository contact. Call this contact repository. Alright, sorry if I went too fast on this a little bit. This is kind of routine for me. I do this quite a lot. So now we've actually done that, and what we want to do, we want to add a method here that says get data. Okay, let's go ahead and bring him down here. And we're going to go ahead and say contacts equal contact repository.get.toList, which is not good. You don't really want to do that very often. You actually don't want to do that at all. Ever. That's bad practices to do that. You need to filter it, because that will return everyone in the database, and it will be slow. But we will get to that. We're going to add some paging to it in a little while. But we also only want to select certain. The only thing you see that we're getting there, that we really only need a first name, last name, and then a way to look them up. So an ID, a first name, and a last name. So rather than making this contacts, we can actually add something else and make this a DTO. Let's go ahead and go down to our models and add a new folder and call this DTOs. So now we're going to have a class that is a contact DTO. He's going to have a prop string first name. Alright, so we can now make this contact DTO. Alright. Now, rather than this, we can say .select. And this is actually a contact. And what we want to say is a new contact DTO, where we pass in an ID equals contact.id, first name, and contact first name, last name, contact.last name. Alright, so now we can do that. Now we can say contacts.add range. And this is going to be the capital C. Okay, so now when we run this, we expect that our contacts will be populated. Let's go ahead and do that. And we break. And we break because of, you look, it says resolution of the dependency failed of the MVVM view shell, name none. Okay, so that's telling us that we have a dependency, but it doesn't know what to do with it. That said, let's handle that. So let's go to our bootstrapper, override, and let's say create or configure container. I'm sorry. I always leave base in there, so I just think it's best too. Alright, so container dot register type. We're going to have an I repository, and you see we're getting errors. And you're saying, why are we getting errors? Well, because the way you register a generic in Unity, you actually say type of, and then I repository. And now you can say type of repository. And that is like that. Now, if we run it, what do you expect to happen? We actually now get our list of items. I want to add a few more to that. I'm going to show you a little trick to do that, so we don't have to, well, let's just type them in. Let's just go ahead and say Jane Doe, and her number is now going to be 333 333 3333, and then her email address is Jane Doe at email.com. Alright, so we're going to save it. Alright, and it's not showing, but it did save, and we're going to say John Doe, and he is going to be let's just make sure they did save. They didn't. Oh, and that's because we it's because it fired, but we deleted the context. Alright, so that's good. Well, let's go ahead and do this. So our contact, we need to say repository dot save, and we're just going to say contact, like that. So now let's add a couple more just to be sure. Jane Doe, I think she was 3. So we save it, and it breaks because the entity is null, and that's because, okay. So in the end, we're going to need another button here. Let's just go ahead and add it. And we'll just say width 75. That's just to make it so not so big. So now we need to add a new command right here. We need to say new, oops, alright, we've done all this before. Alright, so run it. Now we hit new and we say Jane Doe. Her number is 333 333 3333. Her email address is jane.doe@email.com. Then we hit save. You see nothing broke. Now let's go ahead and execute it. She is there. Let's go ahead and hit new, and let's say John. Doe. His number is 444 444 4444, and he is john.doe@email.com. We hit save. We run this. Now he's down here. Neither one of them are showing up here, but if we run it again, they all show. Alright, so that is great. We kind of want some sort of order here. So that's the beauty of being able to return a variable. We can just say order by. Alright, so now we've ordered them. So what do we want to be able to click? We want to be able to click on one of them and display all of their stuff here. Click him, display their stuff here, so on and so forth. Alright. So we need to add another command. Okay. And in this command, we're going to call it, it's going to be a delegate command. It does have the brackets this time, and we're going to pass a contact DTO. And this is going to be a selection changed command. Okay. Alright, so now we have that. We just need to make it fire. Let's go here. Let's click on him. Unfortunately, there is no command here. But what are we going to do? How are we going to get it to fire the command? Well, there's actually this little thing that's very handy. If you type, you have to add the namespace manually, but XMLNS, and by default, it's called I. A lot of people call I, and you type interactivity there. So now we can add him here and say INTER, type out interaction. You'll see triggers. Event trigger, the event name is now going to be selection changed. Okay. We're also going to have invoke command action. Now we can take the command, and this will bind directly to our selection change command. Okay. And the command parameter, we said we wanted to pass one of those in, so what we can do, we can just say X, take the name, list view is good. Okay, so now we want to bind this, okay, to element name, just say list view, the path, selected item. Alright, so now we'd say var a equals b, just to find out, put a breakpoint there, and when we select it, you notice he fires. We have an object, it's Jane Doe, her ID is number 2. Let's run, and you see it is Jane Doe. Her ID is, it doesn't show her ID, but that is perfect. So that's exactly what we want. Let's just go ahead and call this DTO, or contact DTO. Alright, and now we want to say var contact equals contact repository dot get, and we can just say contact DTO dot ID. Alright, now we can say contact equals contact. And let's see if that works. Click it, and you see Jane Doe is there. Now John Doe. Now James stays. Now Jane Doe. We hit new. We put Paul Smith. His phone number is 111-111-1111. His email address is paul.smith@gmail.com. We hit save, and he still doesn't show up here. But let's go ahead and run it again and find out if he was saved. He was. It is in order. He shows up. Alright, so our next step is to go ahead and show that. Let's go ahead and say we know that we've already added it. We could say get data and refresh it, but there's no sense because we already have it. No reason to go to the database if we don't have to. So let's just go ahead and say contacts.add, say contact. Oh. And you see we need a contact DTO, so let's say new contact DTO, and let's have an ID equal to contact.id let's have a last name, contact last name, and a first name, contact first name. Alright, let's go ahead and run that. Paul shows up. Let's hit new. Say Pam. Thompson or Tom. And let's say her phone number is 345 678 0123. And her email address is pam.thomas@email.com. Now we hit save. She does show up, but I don't know if it ordered it. I don't think it did. We still want it to be in order, but it did save it to the database. So let's add one more. Let's add Tom Cruise. Oops. His phone number is 888-333-4444. And he is Tom.Cruz@email.com. And you notice he goes to the bottom. It's no longer in order. So what we can do, we can actually go ahead and say contacts dot order. Okay, I don't know if that'll work or not. We will find out. Let's hit new. And let's say Paul Thomas. Not Thomas. Let's say Anderson. And let's say 999-333-4567. And his email address is paul.anderson@email.com. It still didn't. We also want to be able to delete as well. Alright, so what we can do, this. We can sorry guys, I'm thinking here. Alright. I'm going to hit pause for a second and think about it. Okay guys, so I've actually thought about it for a little bit, did a little bit of research, and it looks like we could add an extension method to do this. I personally don't really want to do that. So I'm going to, in the next video, create a sorted observable collection. Now when you add it, it will automatically sort into a predefined name. So you pass in the two properties that you want to sort by. We'll do that in the next video. So anyways, the last thing I want to do on this video is I want to add all of these buttons in a row, and we want to add one more. So let's go ahead and just cut these out. Put a stack panel. Okay, and make it orientation horizontal. Now this will actually, let's get rid of the column. Don't need that. And we don't need the row as well. I want this to be in grid. We want one more button, and we don't want this to have a defined width here. We don't want this to be that. We just want the content here to actually say delete. Command is now going to be binding to delete command. Okay. Get rid of that too. Alright. One thing I would like to do here, I'd like to go ahead and add window.resources and style target type button. I'm going to have a setter, a property, and I'm going to have a width, and that's going to be a value of 75. I'm also going to have a style property, a setter property, and we're going to have a margin value. It's going to be 5. That will give us a little better look here. Let's go ahead and add the delete command. Alright. Now he's going to actually delete command. Just new delegate command. Delete. Alright. And basically we just want to say, and then we just simply pass in the contact.id. Okay. That said, now when we delete it, we also need to remove that contact from the contacts. Contacts dot first. I personally like single a little better on this, because it'll throw an exception if it's not there. Okay. And then now we say contacts remove, and we simply want to say contact to delete. build it, run it. Alright, so we say Paula, delete her, and we break. Why is he... Ooh. Because the selection changed after we deleted, and now it doesn't know what that is. So what we want to do, we want to say if contact DTO not equal to null, put him in here. Used to JavaScript, guys. Sorry about that. Alright. Else, we just want to say contact equals null. Alright. We run. You notice Paula is done. Deleted. We're actually going to delete Tom. He now deletes. That is good. So that is actually working. It kind of works. It does have some, you know, we're getting quite a big view model here. We don't want thousands and thousands of lines. You see, we can do a few things here. And we actually have a lot of, so there's a lot of things we can do still. Let's remove some of these. We don't need them. But right now we're making some progress. We're doing all right. And we'd like to do better. So in the next video we'll talk a little more about that. We'll actually create the sortable observable collection in the next video as well. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Remember, hit subscribe and share the video if you like it. I appreciate it. Thanks.